never get back.
That's right.
I mean, unless we get a time machine
Or the green Infinity Stone.
or the green Infinity Stone. Welcome to the Five Live Bears podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are so glad that you have decided to take time out of your day to spend a few minutes with us. As always, well, not as always, but as mostly, there are 5 of us here, 4 in the lovely Bear Den of John's, and 1 down in Never Sunny, Texas. Let's start with Aaron. Aaron, how are you? How is Texas?
It's very gloomy. My in-laws are on the way with bronchitis right now, so
Yes.
it's fun.
Your in-laws are en route with bronchitis?
They're bringing gifts.
No, my youngest has bronchitis.
Oh, your youngest has thought it was like
I
that.
thought you meant
I thought they were bringing bronchitis to
I did
you.
too. Like,
They probably are.
I got
They're probably
bronchitis.
that's the
I want to
plague.
come shirt.
All right. Anything else going on, Aaron? Anything else this week? Anything exciting? No, you did.
got the-
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I got this gigantic He-Man book, this 700-page He-Man book. It's crazy.
He was really excited about that.
I was jealous, I admit.
And you also bought a car.
Oh, wow.
It's been
Oh,
a
I
big
don't care about
week.
the car.
It's been a huge week for Aaron.
So the book was more important than the car.
Aaron,
Oh yeah, definitely.
what's been your favorite part of the He-Man book?
They have entries for like everything for the comic books. Like it's a guide to characters. So there's entries to the comic books, the radio dramas, everything. But I really like the movie entries. Like they have an entry for the cow that they met in the movie.
It's got
That's fantastic.
it's got background stories to all the little square records you used to be able to get their floppy.
We're going full Aaron early today. But thanks, Aaron.
No
I
problem.
appreciate that. Sitting on the couch is our friend Brian. Brian, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Got a haircut?
I did. It
Looking
was free.
snazzy?
It's sharp.
Thank you.
Like I couldn't pull that haircut off for like anything.
You might be able to.
No, I have like too big of a head.
Yeah. I
So
do want to give a shout out this week to my couch partner, Charlie, who's had some amazing Facebook posts.
he has been on
and
fire.
I
speaking
didn't
truth
make.
this
I
week.
didn't make them. I just
You-
reposted
but
them
you've
because
been-
I'm
you've been
Charlie,
sharing
you
them.
brought them into my life.
Yeah, but there's
and
a
you
certain-
spoke truth into my life this week.
There's a certain
Appreciate it.
there's a certain talent to reposting things, and
Yeah.
you have literally been just destroying it this week.
Yeah.
When you
Well,
posted
thank you.
Ernest, I was like,
Yeah, when he dropped the Jim Varney
Yeah, that-
faces,
that was,
But,
was
I
like,
mean, I
I laughed, I cried.
I legitimately love Jim Varney. I think he's a seriously underrated actor just because he was earnest.
I would agree.
Ernest was amazing.
He was also great in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes.
Nice.
Well played. See, again, dropping truth, Charlie.
Brian, anything else besides Jim Varney going on in your life?
No, I was jealous of Aaron for the book, but no, I mean, other than my normal craziness that goes on.
I mean, you earlier pre-bear chat or pre-bear podcast, Brian was sharing an epic adventure about how he did not get a pop that he received,
yes.
a Funko Pop that he received, and he threatened to burn down Disney World, I think.
No, I threatened to
process.
go to Disney World to get it, but
Yeah.
they were sold out.
He's on
so.
a Disney watch list now.
He's
He's
yeah,
totally on the
he's on
watch
the watch
list.
Yeah.
list.
They
Anyways.
were like, this guy's looking for pops, like, let's watch out for
Well,
it.
you know what the weirdest part of the story though is because he's into it, he's really telling it. He's talking about talking to the representative from Disney,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden the representative from Disney's like, "Well, I got to check with Tinkerbell." I was like,
Yes.
"What?"
They
She
do
did.
that. They do that to you. Well, we'll have to
Why?
see if
Yeah.
Tinkerbell's can find
I
it.
said, I literally was like at my wit's end, and I was
Okay,
like,
could
I was
you
like, find some Disney magic. You got to figure this out. Make it happen.
could you just
I
talk,
got to have this pop.
see me? I'd be like, "Could you just talk to me like I'm an adult?"
No,
I mean,
and
you
then
know, I
and then
don't
they were
care.
like, hold on, wait a minute. Tinkerbell is not officially saying this, but it might resurface later this week.
If Captain Hook hasn't taken it back to the
Well,
shelf.
he's fighting TikTok Croc right now, so we're not sure if he can.
This is
But Peter Pan
ridiculous.
might fly in with it.
Oh.
Ta-da!
Just give me the pop. I mean,
So needless to say, I'm waiting on a mouse to deliver a package, and we'll see what happens.
well, it'd be like if you go into, it'd be like Hot Topic. You go in there and you're like, where's this pop? And you're like, well, Marilyn Manson doesn't have it here yet. It's like, what?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Stop. Just
I
stop.
gotta tell you,
Just-
if the Hot Topic people talk to me like that, it would be so awesome.
I've told you my Hot Topic story from like 1999 or 2000 when they were going to the vampire stage.
Oh, the full goth store. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I had this. Okay, I got to tell this. I know we're talking about pets tonight.
I wouldn't
But-
work there so bad. You have no idea.
We went at the Jefferson Mall.
So you could be like just total pale.
That dude, yeah.
I've got the best story though of Hot Topic. This is back when they were goth store. They're got cool stuff now, but they were totally
They went
from,
through a teenage stage.
Yeah. Well, I walk in there and they had some GI Joe T-shirts. This is when they first started doing those really cool. You get them they get them at like a merry-go-round at the mall. And Hot Topic had some. They had some Transformers stuff I wanted. It's like, all right. Well, I'd never shopped at Hot Topic before. I wasn't used to this high-pressure salesmanship, especially from a vampire. So I walk in and there's this dude, and you can't see if you're watching a video on YouTube, but I got a stormtrooper. He was about as white as that stormtrooper. I mean, he's just pasty. And he's got these long nails.
Translucent.
Yeah, and he's got these contacts in. He's like long hair. And then I walk up there and I lay these two shirts on the counter. He's like, if you get a third one, you get the second one for half price. And I was like, I'll just take these two T-shirts. Me and Carlos there, I don't think we were married yet. And he's like, you want the third T-shirt? I was like, no. I don't want the third T-shirt. I want these two. He's trying to like vampire mind meld me or something. And I'm like, no, I just want these two T-shirts. All of a sudden he goes, you want the third one?
Oh no,
And
he
does
did
this
not.
thing with his hand. And I'm standing there watching him. Finally I look at Carla.
John's getting so mad. So mad at the moment, too.
I look at him. I was like, do you want to sell these T-shirts or not? And he goes, yeah, man, it's cool. And that was it. That was my one experience shopping at Hot Topic in the late 90s. And I was like, no more. I'll just go to Walmart and buy theirs. That's where I'll go now for T-shirts.
All right. Well, Charlie, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, doing well.
How's day shift?
It's actually not nearly as horrible as I expected it to be. I was willing to make a change of pace, and I thought that I'd be busy all day and it would be annoying. But no, actually, it's less busy than night shift. I've managed to finish a book and start a second book this week. And
Nice.
yeah, lots of reading to be done on day shift.
Now, is that because, I mean, in all seriousness, is that because most of the people that you deal with, it's more like after they get off work and they're alone and they have those issues that kind of pop up then? Is that why night
That's
shift
when I
would
get
be
most
so?
anxious is at night.
Well, I think the thing. Well, that yeah. I, think
I know
anxious
nothing.
is not-
I know nothing of it. I'm
well,
just asking.
There's more staff. There's a lot more people there working during the daytime, and there's groups going on. And if they don't go to group, then they have to stay in the room until group's over. So I don't have to go to the groups. There's always staff in there, like the group leader, and then what's called a program specialist who like runs the groups. And so yeah, let's see. I'm trying to do the math here. 10 out of 12 hours, they're either in their room or in group.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty. I'm on the code team every day for some reason. I guess they think that I'm like, Captain Save 'em. But so every day, the code team is when the staff needs assistance on another floor. That's the phrasing we
Code team,
use
code
because
team, code
it's not always a show of force. It's a show of support.
oh.
Yeah. So yeah,
But you are the muscle, though, right?
Well,
come on, be honest.
No, actually, I'm not. I'm usually the smallest dude on the code team. I guess they need a little guy on the code team every.
Are you the guy that stands in the back? You're like, yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm usually the guy that says, "You guys need the cart." If there's a cart, you have to transport them on if they're being
I'll
secluded.
push it.
So yeah, basically, you guys need a cart. You might need anything.
Charlie's on a code team with 4 Delta Force guys.
Pretty
Just
much.
retired.
Oh,
Exactly.
All right, John, real quick, anything going on before we get into
No, other than the incredible Allegra high I'm on right now.
John told a great
Oh,
Allegra High
man.
story earlier about how he went to get his hair cut
and
and ended up at Burger King.
And that's my
it
favorite.
was insane
That's my
yesterday.
favorite John Denver song, Allegra High.
No, well, since Tim brings it up, I got out of school yesterday and I decided I was going to get my hair cut. So I drive up to get my hair cut. I drove past the barbershop, said, hey, there's only 2 guys in there. I'm going to park. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting in line at Burger King to get me a Whopper. I don't even know what happened between the time I drove through the parking lot to park to get my hair cut and then go get it. There's a gap in my time
But
for about
that-
25 minutes.
But it's not like the Burger King's like 6 miles away. It's like
It's across the street.
it's
Yeah,
across the street.
It's right across the street.
It's right across the street.
So I was just like
It's just
I
right
pulled
there.
up and I was like, oh, there's only 2 people. I'm a park, and I turned the corner. I guess I saw the Burger King sign. I was like, oh, there's Burger King. I'm
Did
gonna
you
go get a
see the Burger King sign, or did you smell the Burger King?
I probably smelled
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
man.
coming out of Home Depot, that's tough to avoid. I think it's good.
They blow them things out of there with like 4,000.
I don't even want a burger until I come out of Home
Oh,
Depot,
you
and then I'm
got
like,
to.
oh, that Burger King smells
They
good.
got that
right
smoke
now.
flying out top of the building. It's like,
Okay.
and they got that. She's out there. She's holding the Whopper. She's like, hey. I'm
I
like,
got your
"Oh,
Whopper."
I'm coming. Here I
Yeah.
come.
Never seen that happen at a Burger.
Well, you don't go to the Dixie Highway
Well, it is
Burger
Dixie
King.
Highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, as everybody's kind of talked about, we are going to talk about pets tonight. Talk about the pets that we have had in our lives, so maybe some favorite pet stories, and then maybe finish it up with some horrible pet stories, because I have to tell you that Aaron and I do not have many good pet stories. We have mostly bad pet stories. But first off, let's just do this. Your favorite pet that you ever owned. Ever, okay? Favorite pet ever. Aaron, start it off for us, your favorite pet.
My favorite pet would be Max, who was a Jack Russell Terrier I had in high school.
That dog
He was
was terrible.
I remember Max.
Yeah, he was super hyper and crazy. And
He was a complete spaz. That dog was.
Just
nuts.
non-stop. Why did you like that dog, Aaron?
he was awesome. He was never a dull moment. He was just entertaining.
Really? Out of like the
Yes.
20,000 pets we've had, Max is your favorite.
I remember like go over to y'all's house and you'd open that back door and he'd take off and just circle,
There you
just
go.
circle the deck. That's what he would do, and he never stopped. It was just
He would just run on side.
it was crazy. He was
Yeah.
he was nuts.
Good stuff. That was when Mom and Dad decided to have 2 Jack Russells, and they were going to start their own Jack Russell breeding company.
At a
and,
farm.
oh my gosh, it was awful. The female Jack Russell they got was named Hannah, and if you just looked at that dog, it peed everywhere. I mean, it was terrible. You would walk in the house and Hannah would turn around the corner, and you're like, nobody look at her, nobody.
So the screaming didn't.
But she was hyper too, and she'd jump on you and then start peeing. It was bad.
Even worse.
Good times, good times. Brian, favorite pet you ever had?
That would be Maddie. She was a boxer pit bull that I got for Jen when we first got married, and very good dog. She ended up passing away too soon, so it's good and bad. But she was the best dog we ever had.
What's a great Maddie story that you have?
She would wake up every morning with me. This is when I was going to the Gold's Gym at 5 a.m. and she'd wake up every morning, follow me to the door, sit there, and she would wait for me, Jen would say, until I got back home. And we'd just sit there, and when we first had her, she was so hyper and aggressive that I was like, what have we got? We got to get a muzzle for this dog. And then they showed me a couple things we could do to try to make her more behaved, and she was great. Best dog I ever had after that. So,
Nice.
only dog I've ever cried over.
Oh,
So, yeah, she died tragically.
well, we won't get into that.
No, we won't.
Dang on.
I'm not gonna cry on the
Well,
podcast.
Wow.
It's
We're
still too
gonna
fresh.
take a quick
Well,
break.
good night, everybody. It's been great. YouTube, Facebook. Brian just killed the show.
Wow, Charlie, what do you got? Favorite
Good
pet you
grief.
ever had?
Charlie, you got to bring it up.
My dog Abby, she's the sweet puppy.
Gosh.
She's dumber than a sack of hammers, and I'll love her to pieces. She's a beagle. She thinks that I have come to the conclusion the reason that she barks when you're trying to eat is because she thinks that you're being poisoned, and she wants to taste the food, so that way if you die, you both die.
Go out together.
Go out together. She's got to make sure that
So
everything's
every
all right.
time you eat, she barks.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's insane.
on the rare occasion where like sometimes I have to prepare food for her and then put it out on the porch so that I can eat my food in peace. But usually she eats her food too quick and then she starts barking to
This-
come in
this
the house.
dog-
And is it a typical beagle bark?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This dog has no neck. I mean, this dog is so fat, and she's so spoiled. My goodness. We went down to the farm Friday night, which was an adventure of itself because we had to walk through a nest of hornets to get there, and the ticks, which was crazy. But we come in the front door, and Charlie's dad was there, and he met us, and Abby came around the corner, and she did this thing where she went like like she didn't realize we were going to be there, and then she just went nuts.
Mhm.
And she sleeps with Susie every time we go down there, right up against her on the air mattress. And she's not a little dog. I mean, we're not talking like them little beagles. We're talking like a big beagle that sits on Lou's lap like she's a lap dog. It's crazy.
Nice. How long have you had Abby?
Let's see, going on 4 years.
It's been 4 years.
Mhm.
Wow,
Abby the Beagle.
doesn't sound like that long.
I'm going to save John for last because I know John's going to have a couple epic tales to tell. My favorite pet ever was Briscoe, my hairless cat.
He was awesome.
I had at one time 3 hairless cats. The first one we got, we found out was like, as soon as we got it, we found out it was dying. So the lady gave us a kitten, and that was Briscoe. Briscoe was awesome. He acted like a dog. He followed you around the house. He ate table scraps. He was a really awesome cat, and had him for about 6 or 7 years, and we had to get rid of him after Kinsey was born because every time Briscoe walked by Kinsey, she tried to lick him. And as the cat would go by, it would be like a streak down the side of him. It was just like, all right. Brittany was like, nope, we are not keeping the cat anymore. But that was the best pet I ever had. He would sleep next to you every night if you allowed him. He wanted to be right underneath your arm, between your arm and your chest, and he would nuzzle up there, and he'd make his little cat bed. You know they do. He was great, and also you weren't allergic to him because he had no hair, except for Spencer, Brother Mark's kid, Spencer. He would come over, and for whatever reason, Briscoe loved Spencer. He would leave everybody alone and go to Spencer, climb right up in his chest, and start rubbing his head on like against Spencer's stubble on his neck, and Spencer would instantly just like break out in hives. It was the weirdest thing. What? But anyways, yeah, nobody else never had that problem. But that was my favorite pet. So
Briscoe was interesting. If you ever been around a hairless cat like that, the Sphinxes, he was really cool because I go over to their house, and he just pop up, and he's like, whoa, because it was so weird to
he would
see.
take you back, yeah.
And he acted like a regular cat, so you'd start petting him, and it's just skin. It's like it was the coolest thing. I liked him a lot. He was neat, but it was weird. He was weird.
Yeah, you either thought it was really like the coolest thing you ever seen, or you thought it was Satan incarnate. We had people that were like scared to death.
He liked Carla too. Carla would hang out with Carla when we came over.
All right, John, saved you for last.
Best pet I ever had was probably the most colorful dog I've ever had.
Really?
I had a bull terrier named Bogey. And Charlie's shaking his head.
I knew this was coming. This is why I saved it for last.
I had to. My dad, every time we're around, I have to tell the story about the time that I pretend like Bogey got into the bedroom and Charlie was sleeping in the basement and scared him to death. My dad, that makes me tell that story every time I'm around. He laughs so hard. It was great. This dog was absolutely the most loyal dog I've ever seen in my life. He was cockeyed. He was ugly. He had no tail. We don't even know where his tail went. I mean, it was just he had no
did
tail.
he come with a tail
No.
and then you lost it?
No, he didn't even have like a stump. It was just not there. It was just like, and he would shake his rear end like,
He's wagging his tail.
but his eyes were basically like on the sides of his head. He was horrible. He had this big scar on the end of his nose where he got in a fight with something one time.
Oh my!
His dog was awful.
Brian, did you never meet Bogey?
You never met Bogey, did you?
Oh my god!
I mean, I totally thought he was going with Katie. but-
No. He was absolutely the most loyal dog to my family, but he is absolutely the most territorial animal I've ever seen as far as other people go. He would not let anybody into the backyard.
And he wasn't that big of a dog.
No, he was about the size of a Jack Russell Terrier.
Oh, wow.
Maybe a little bit stockier, but one time we were filming at our house when we were trying to get on we were trying to do
Public access.
and Charlie was doing the tour of everywhere we were filming. So we go out in the backyard and he was like, "Hey, this is Bogey." And Bogey, he's talking, the dog's just kind of standing there staring at him. And he's like, "Hey, damn right, Bogey." And he reaches his hand over that fence. That dog goes absolutely crazy. It tries to rip his arm off his body. Charlie's like, "Whoa!" I wish we could find that video somewhere. It was great. I don't have time to tell the other story though about the night I acted like Bogey and Charlie thought he was dead in the basement. I'll tell it off. I'll tell y'all after we get done. 'cause
Is
it's
it that
great
long
story.
of a story?
Yeah, it's a pretty long story.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a great dog. But at the same time, I mean, all the aggression and everything he had in him is my sister. It was actually my sister's dog. I mean, they hung out all the time. But if it started to thunder, if we had a lightning storm or something, he was allowed to come in and sleep on the stoop in my mom and dad's kitchen. But then he would somehow miraculously like wind up at the end of their bed or in Carrie's bed or downstairs on the couch with me if it started storming. And she would go in there and he'd like a bone or something in his mouth, and she'd give me that bone. And he'd start growling. She's like, "Don't you growl at me." She would try to rip it out of his mouth. And he'd flip over and show his belly, because he was absolutely scared of her. But he was a great
like
dog.
most men.
Yeah,
scared to death of Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie was like that. She met Mike, and he kind of cowers in the corner all the time. It's where he just sits. She's like, "Sit over there." That's what he does. Hope she doesn't listen to this. But yeah, he was the best dog I ever had. He was an incredible animal.
Well, before we take a break, any other pets from your childhood that really stood out as good pets? Aaron, any other pets that you really wanted to highlight as pets you enjoyed?
Not really.
Aaron's like, I'll just
They're terrible.
I hate animals.
I hate. All right, Brian.
The other one would be Smokey, who was our beagle.
Is this another sad story?
Oh, it's not
Okay,
sad
just making sure.
You get the sad music ready again. Smokey. Was that your childhood pet?
Yes. Got him when I was in kindergarten, and I believe he lived till I was like
Oh,
13.
it's about to get sad again.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Ah,
Music.
it's fine. It's
Came
fine.
home one day.
They called him Old Yeller for some reason. I don't know why.
That's one of those stories. Just like I had him, and he died on Christmas Eve.
Went to doggy heaven over the rainbow.
He went to the farm. Charlie, any other
Santa done
pets?
picked him up that night and took him.
What about Figaro?
I was like, had cats forever. I have actually a tattoo of the cats that I had for the longest, big cat and little cat, because we had a lot of imagination naming our cats.
Aaron and I did too.
But yeah, they were awesome. They lived 13 years. 13-year-old black cats. I mean, come on,
And one of them weighed about 40 pounds.
at least.
He was huge. Now, my favorite pet that they had of all time was a cat named Figaro, and this cat was like a barn cat. He had like a wild streak in him, and Charlie would sit. I'm telling the story here. Charlie sat on the couch just like he is right now with his arm up on the couch watching TV, and that cat would come in there and jump up on the side of the couch. You just see these claws.
No, he didn't have claws. He used his teeth.
And he would grab him by the mouth, I guess, and just bite you. And he would
Or
just,
he would run
Whoa.
and jump with his mouth open and claw you with his teeth.
And Charlie just go be like, "Wah!" Just be these scratch marks down his arm. He'd chase you down a hallway in the dark and like bite the back of your ankles. and
Aaron, is
all
that the
types of
one
stuff.
when you was spending the night? Charlie, the cat would try to like get underneath the door.
No, that was
Maybe.
Yeah, Aaron was. Y'all didn't live here at that point in time, I
Okay.
don't think. Or if you, I
Because
think
Aaron always told me that story. He stayed in
No, that
that
was a
house
little
one
cat.
time, and the cats tried to get into the bedroom. And
That was a little
kill
cat,
him
yeah.
and sleep.
My-
he would just paw under the door and.
Aaron's all over in the corner looking over to the cat paws, turn on the door. My honorable mention, other than Bogey, would have to be Katie. Would have to be our cat Katie.
Why do all your pets hate me
Katie hated everybody except
They
for me.
sensed it.
except for
Evil.
Dad?
Yeah, she loved
you
your
and
dad.
you and Dad.
She's loved me
And-
now that she's passed.
Well,
She
she's
visits
around.
me
She's
in
still
her
around.
spirit.
Katie
Yeah.
kind of liked me.
But she
Have you been hit in the back of your leg by her ghost body yet?
No, we used to fight when she was alive.
We'll talk.
Wait till the ghost body attacks you.
we'll talk ghost cats when we get to Halloween this year.
Ghost cat.
But she, when we first got her, she was she was a little bitty old thing. And one day I got home and we were living in an apartment. I had a note, please call maintenance. I was like, well, what's going on? So I called down to maintenance, and I knew the maintenance guy. And he was like, hey, John. I was like, yeah, what's going on, John? That was his name. It was one of them kind of odd conversations.
John.
John. And he said, hey, we came up to check that faucet that you said was leaking, but we couldn't get into your apartment because your cat wouldn't let us in. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, the cat wouldn't let us in the apartment. Okay, this cat weighs less than like 10 pounds. But she stood at the door and growled at them. And every time they tried to open doors, she'd reach out and try to swat at them. And it's like a 6-month-old cat. We knew we were in trouble. We knew we were totally in trouble after that. And she hated everybody. except for me. She liked me.
No, you told me stories you'd have to like turn the light off and run and jump in your bed, or
Yeah.
else she'd come out
Well,
and attack
she
you.
would. She didn't have any claws either, but she would climb under the bed
So inhumane.
and she would lay there, and you knew she was there because you could see the skirt on the bottom of the bed moving. And if you stuck your foot under the bed to climb into bed, she would grab your foot with her paws and like drag your foot under the bed and then bite it.
Like she's taking you on.
And so you would have to stand back and figure out where she was. And then you basically have to pole vault into bed every night
Pole vault
while
into
she's
bed.
like reaching for you like this.
I almost had him. I almost had him.
One day I'll get out.
It was terrifying.
When
Put
Susie
him in-
was born, because y'all were at the hospital for a lot longer than expected, I had to come get clothes for everybody. When I did, she tried to kill me. It was a good thing that I was wearing Chucks because I could feel the pressure of her teeth in the high top Chucks on my ankle. Like she wasn't trying to just play; she was trying to maim me. She was trying to
taking out
cut my
your-
like.
She was
it
like, if I
almost
take
like
his feet out,
It
I
was
can
like that
go for
scene
the
in Pet
jugular.
Cemetery where the kid like cuts his Achilles tendon. She was trying to take me down so she could eat my eyeballs out or something.
Well, the year we had the ice storm, I had to walk in from about like I felt like a quarter mile up the road because you couldn't get down our hill, and it was the house. You could see your breath in the house. And Carla's like, "Bring the cat to Mom's." I was like, "I was supposed to get her there because we had this cat carrier." So I'm walking around the house. I'm like, "Katie,
It's like a horror
Katie."
film.
Finally, I found her. And I tried to shove her in the thing, and she like put her paws on the other side. She's like
Like a cartoon.
So I finally had to go get a beach towel and wrap her in the beach towel and chuck the beach towel into the
my gosh.
into the carrier, and then carry her back up the hill. The scene in a Christmas Vacation where the box is flipping around. That's how the carrier was all the way up the hill. And I'm walking through the ice, and I had this carrier, and it's like. And it was the most insane thing I've ever had to do. Got her back over your mom and dad's, and then Papa like tried to stick her with his cane, and they had a good relationship too.